Give me a minute to get Instagram going here. We have a cool card today. I'm excited about this one. We'll see what you think. It's mystical. There we go. Finally. All right. We'll see who pops on this fine Monday morning. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, here with some words of wisdom to start your day off well with our early morning intuitive guidance. I'm here live every morning. Very rarely miss. Very rarely miss. I think we're in year 13 here. Good morning, Gwen. Welcome. Glad you are here. We'll see who else pops on this morning for a little bit of this. I'm going to say this card is going to be a little bit of Good morning to the other two of you who are here. Welcome, welcome. Good morning, Barb. Glad you're here. Good morning, Abigail. Hello, practical rebels all over the place. This is good. We have a Wild Harmonic Oracle card today, and those are always deep, really deep. And this one has an interesting depth that I think you're going to find fits right in with all of what we've been talking about, right? So, hope you all had a good weekend, a happy Father's Day. We did a cookout, and by the time I was done, I was pooped. So, but I think Dad had a good time, and my brother and his wife were here, and a friend of mine, and my sister, and a couple of dogs. So, it was good. It was good. So, let me think for a moment here because I'm feeling you're just picking up energy from outside. There's like this pregnant pause out there. Everything is incredibly still, which I always find interesting. Good morning, Beth. Welcome. Glad you're here. And the birds are pretty quiet this morning, unusual for them. So, well, we'll see what this day has to offer. It looks like it's supposed to be a sunny day. I don't know. We'll see. So, feels like breath is important today. Let me teach you something about breath. Okay, so let's start with some nice deep belly breaths, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Let the shoulders drop in through the nose, out through the mouth. One more, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Now, if there's a time where you're ever feeling kind of stuck with your energy, or blah, or flat, or two-dimensional, just kind of meh, there's a breath that you can use that will activate things. It takes some effort, some conscious effort on your part to keep it going for a little bit, but typically 3 to 5 minutes of this breathing and things will start to flow. Like if you're doing your journaling and you're like, okay, nothing's landing on the page here. This breath, it's called panting breath, will get you where you want to go. So, good morning, Diane. Glad you are here. Welcome. Enjoy your day off. So let's start with this panting breath just for a minute or two, and then we'll shift back to the other breath, and then we'll hit the card, because I think that will open us up to receiving the message this card has. And like I said, this deck to me is a very deep deck. So the more opened up we are, the better we're going to be able to receive the entirety of the message. So it's just panting. And you keep it going. And there'll be times when your brain wants to shut that down. Usually that's right on the cusp of something coming to you, a thought, a feeling, your body reacting in some way. Sometimes muscles will twitch, but it's a very good way to get things in flow, get them moving if you're stuck. Again, oftentimes our subconscious mind is operating on a whole different agenda than we are. So we may be saying something like, I really want to do a deep dive into why I'm not comfortable looking for a new job. And subconscious mind is going, oh, hell no. It's going to get in your way. It's going to get in your way unless you have a way to move around it. So this breath, the panting breath, your mouth will get dry, all kinds of things will unfold, but allow that to keep going. Set a timer. Set a timer for 2 minutes and just do that. And you're going to feel stupid. You're going to feel like you're getting nowhere. You may start to feel even overwhelmed as something is inching its way toward the surface. But I found it to be a really good tool to move things forward. So, Information on which you could choose to use this tool to move forward would include today's card. So first, let me show you the box. The Wild Harmonic deck by Gabriel J, Marihugh, and the cover of the book, because these drawings are just so amazing. So amazing. And the card itself. You'll notice that there's a snake wound around the chalice, catching the drop as it comes down. So let's see what that has to tell us. Another nice deep breath. Let go. Open to receiving this message. The Spirit of Water. This is the Spirit of Water card. Tantric Trust. As the spirit of creativity embodies into the flowing feeling of life, the edge beyond which we find ourselves transformed is found. So think about that. We're moving ourselves to that edge of transformation. Planetarily, astrologically, many of the astrologers are talking about July being one hell of a month, and the 20th in particular being a pivotal transformational day. So if you kind of feel like July, your life is the 52 pickup of life, yeah, yep, ride it out. Ride it out, because it may look like there's a line that I just love from a CD that I listened to on endless loop for months as I was working on my Mary Kay car about 10 years ago. And the words were, just when it feels like it's falling apart, that's when it's coming together. Keep that in mind. Roll that through your brain. Just when it feels like it's falling apart, that's when it's coming together. Maybe in a very different way than what it was constituted prior. Good morning, Joe Neal. Welcome. Glad you are here. But it's coming together nonetheless, and we need to keep the faith in that. So let me read that sentence again, because one of the things I love about this person, Gabriel J. Marihugh, is he writes with eloquence. And our brains have been so trained to dumb down. What do we do? When we post something, well, let's do it at an average 6th grade reading level. Yes, that might make it more accessible for more people, but it also dumbs down those who are used to using their vocabulary more fully. So maybe we got to figure out a way to accomplish both, right? So, and there are times when there's words I know I use that someone's going to have to look them up. Please look them up. That's what I do. When there's a word I don't know, I look it up because I want to learn more. I don't think we necessarily do ourselves a favor when we don't allow people the opportunity to learn and to grow. So, as the spirit of creativity, take a breath there, embodies into the flowing feeling of life, take a breath there, the edge beyond which we find ourselves transformed is found. We are going into that transformational space, that liminal space between what was and what will be. And again, green muck stage doesn't mean it's comfortable, does not mean it's comfortable at all, but well worth going there. Well worth going there. So there's the image again, the snake. All right, the meditation. Here are the things that we're going to be doing, or that we already are doing, many of us. Exploring my edges, taking chances with the unknown, and the willingness to be honest with myself. Good morning, Mel. Glad you're here. Welcome. That's where that question I always ask, what am I pretending not to know, comes into play. Ask yourself that repeatedly. See what you get. What am I pretending not to know? This card deck is very good for poking at what you're pretending not to know. This card is the deeply transformative energies that feel threatening and overwhelming, but offer profound transformations if I can open to them even a little. Take a breath. Let it go. Yes, transformational space. Thank you, Gwen. Life is a giant swirl of relationships, a tantric stew of shadows and light. All of a sudden, I feel the very chalice from which I drink my fill of life is tainted with poison. Or perhaps it is not. There's that wrestling with what is and trying to force it into an either or. Way more options than either or. Perhaps I possess deeply hidden transformational powers that are kept in check because I am afraid of the experiences that they will coax out. Are we holding ourselves back? Are we getting in our own way? Are we not allowing our gifts to manifest? There's several writers who have been talking about there being much more to our DNA, other strands of DNA that can come online when we allow them to. So, being in this transformational stage, transmuting what seems scary into our growth path. Okay. Perhaps what I once perceived as venom becomes the nectar of purification once I let go of my societal mind's primacy. So if we're thinking like everybody else is thinking, we're getting in our own way. We're getting in the way of our own transformation. Good morning, Nancy. Glad you are here. Welcome, welcome. Allow my heart's creativity to shine forth, including in spite of and because of those who say, well, that's weird. That's folly. That's what a stupid choice you're making, blah, blah, blah. Know that those are the people who are probably still stuck in societal thought. You're leading the way, and it can be lonely out front. So here's the inquiry question. If several of you could post this in the feed, that would be awesome. Where is my edge in life? And how far past my comfort zone am I willing to go to see what I'm made of? Where is my edge in life? Because if you're right smack in the middle of your comfort zone, ain't much happening. Where is my edge in life? And how far past my comfort zone am I willing to go to see what I'm made of? Take a breath. Let it go. And it doesn't mean we have to leap into the abyss. It can be taking one step beyond, one step beyond. And then that can become a new normal. And then another step beyond. So it doesn't mean you have to throw yourself over the edge. It can just mean you're willing to step forward. And it being that spirit of creativity within us. Well, what about this? And what about that? And could this possibly happen? And might that be the case? Playing with all of that. Thank you, Abigail. Where is my edge in life? And how far past my comfort zone am I willing to go to see what I'm made of? So there's our card. Spirit of water, flow. Spirit of water is flow. And the trust of all that. Thank you, Gwen. I appreciate it. How far past my comfort zone am I willing to go to see what I'm made of? Try some things. Even if they don't work, you will have learned something important. And even if they don't work, it may hone your edge enough that the next time you try it, it does work. Failure is a part of this process. Mary Kay Ash used to say, failing forward to success. We are all failing forward to success. But if we're unwilling to allow the failures, we're unlikely to get to the success. We have to make mistakes. We have to mess it up. We have to mess it up. Thank you, Abigail. I appreciate that. So, what are you willing to mess up today? What are you willing to not know the answer to as you go into it? What are you willing to explore and to be curious about and to create with? Take some chances. Do a few things. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Surprised yourself doing a job transfer. Never thought you'd ever do that. Yes, 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 yes. And sometimes we need the proverbial nudge. We need the thing that makes us say, okay, enough of this. Time for a change. Time for a change. So there's 10 of you watching me live right now. Think about that. If 10 of you make even one small step forward into this area of growth, the ripple effects that cause. Let's say you each only impact 5 people with whatever changes you're making. That's 50 people total. No, 60 people total because there's the 10 of you. So that's a lot of change. That's a lot of change. Yes. So just breathe into this. Breathe into this. I have a friend who wrote a book, and her method was put on her sneakers, go out and stand on the curb and wait for her feet to tell her which way to walk that day. Do something like that. Okay, universe, give me some guidance. What am I meant to know, to see, to feel, to believe, to do? All the things. All the things. Magical times. Let's take advantage of it. Have an awesome Monday. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you are capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.